Price of a Rose. Chapter 3. I wake when I feel something pierce my fingers. My grogginess evaporates like water on a hot day when I see the disgusting rat. I shriek, jumping up and kicking it away. It scampers off and leaves through a small hole in the wall. Breathing calmly to settle my heart rate, I assess my surroundings. I'm in some kind of tower, judging by how close the sky is to the small window in the room. The sky's brightness also tells me it's morning already, which means if I find a way out, the barrier will stop me from leaving. At this point, I don't question anything Sasha's brother has shared with me. I walk over to the door, which has a barred window. Peek through, standing on my tiptoes. There's a stairwell with sets of armor lined up along it. No human or ghostly presence seems close by, so I reach up to my hair and pull out a hairpin. My hair flops down, tickling my ears. Hopefully, my hand can reach through the bars to get the lock. I've never picked a lock before, so I'm doubtful it will even matter. Unexpectedly, there is a shifting noise behind me. My instincts kick in as I spin around and slam my back against the door, thinking it's another rat. I'm surprised to see a cat, but not a real one. It is outlined in a glowing color like the red beast, except its color is a light purple. Cat looks at me with purple eyes as it lingers in the tower's shadows. Then it steps forward into the light and changes into the form of a tall, middle-aged woman with long, wavy hair. I can't tell much else because everything glows purple. I keep my back pressed against the door, afraid of what the woman will do. But then she smiles. My, you sure are a handful, missy. I told Master you weren't a thief, but how am I supposed to explain you picking a lock, she says, gesturing towards the hairpin. How did you get in here? I ask, what are you? She chuckles sweetly, which gives me the sense that she is someone I can trust, at least a little. I'm a spirit. A spirit? You mean like a ghost? I say, coming closer to her. I reach my hand forward and try touching her shoulder. My hand swipes through it. You're not kidding. Indeed. I am not. I don't play games with people often, missy. My name is Fern and I work here in the castle. I used to be the nursemaid. Well, if you work here, can you tell me what's going on, who you work for, and what they want from me? I say, going back to the door and sticking my left hand through the small window to try and find the lock. For starters, you are in an enchanted castle. A haunted one, I correct her. With lots of spirits like myself floating about or inside things. And Master is the one you encountered the other night. He believes you need to be held responsible for breaking in and trying to steal. But I suspect he wants something else from you. Realizing that reaching the lock will never happen, I pull my hand back into the room. So you serve that thing, that beast or whatever it is. Why would anyone do that? Even if they are a spirit. Many questions, that's good. Perhaps a thief is what we need, she says, mainly to herself before clearing her throat. And for your information, I can't exactly quit because I can't leave the grounds. Only Master can, and he isn't always a beast. For example, you saw me as a cat. It is just another form he takes in the darkness. I shake my head. Who cares if that isn't his actual form? He could have killed me if I had fallen out that opening. Then I realize the dots aren't entirely connected. Wait a second, if he's a spirit, how did he push me? Fern looks to the ceiling and sighs. He can interact with the living more than the rest of us. In a certain amount of light, he is human. Sometimes he can touch humans, even at night, as a spirit without possessing anything. So yes, he is far more dangerous to you than I am. I lean my back on the door, waiting for more details. Fern still needs to cover what he wants with me. I fear that my body will be used as a vessel for a spirit, maybe his lover, so she can be a human again. I rest my head on the door. I've been reading way too many books. What does he want from me? I ask again, this time adding a stern tone to my voice. I want the answer. Fern's mouth twitches, but the door behind me is thrown open. I fall to the ground, catching myself on my hands and knees. A ghostly man with a goatee hovers over me, smiling. He is the same purple color as Fern and much taller than she is. Oh, my bad, my lady. I didn't know anyone was leaning against the door, he says, sounding just as honest as Fern. I would help you up, but I kinda can't unless. He disappears, and then, from behind me, a set of armor lifts me. Once on my feet, I yelp and knock the helmet off the armor set to find no one inside. The man reappears beside the armor, looking at the helmet that rolls down the stairs. The rest of the suit crashes to the floor. That's unfortunate, he says flatly. I scream, what the what? Were you in the set of armor? He rolls his shoulders in a cheery mood. Yes, I was. They are actually one of the best objects to possess. So you have hands and legs? Some spirits even possessed our visitors, but Master forced them to be a part of the barrier instead. No one likes that position. It's like being possessed yourself. Master doesn't enjoy putting more spirits out there because it complicates our goal, but it's better than having those spirits ruin everything by possessing young, pretty girls like yourself. Speaking of being pretty, you're probably the most beautiful one yet to come, and... Ned, stop talking her ear off. Fern shouts at him, coming out of the room. She is about to say something else, but I cut her off. What are you talking about? A guest? A guest. Is that what you think this is? I point to the room. Clearly nothing about this reads I'm his honorable guest. I'm most definitely his prisoner. Ned waves a hand. Oh, please, my lady. That's why I set you free. I'm taking you to your room. I laugh. My room? I doubt anything in this place is nice enough to call a room. Now, please, one of you, tell me what he wants with me or show me the way out of here. There is no way out, Fern states, and like I said, I'm not sure what he plans for you. The options are limited to that he'll give you a chance, make you a servant, or decide you're not worth it and throw you in the dungeons, missy. I mean, you did enter uninvited. My name is Arabelle, I hiss, already tired of her calling me a missy. She makes it sound like I'm a spoiled little girl. Two spirits glance at each other, sharing a silent conversation I am not invited to join. Something about me worries them. Perhaps I spoke too harshly, or maybe saying my name makes it easier for me to be possessed. I need to be careful throwing my name around like that. Though I have no idea if knowing my name gives them power over me. Ned forces a smile, breaking the ice. If I were you, Arabelle, I'd keep a low profile. And though my sister says there is no way out, there's a chance for escaping when it's dark outside. Fern rolls her eyes as she heads down the stairs. Yes, that may be true, but don't forget that eyes are everywhere, even if you can't see them. Let's get you settled in your room. Master will be expecting you at dinner time this evening. Slowly, I follow them down the dark set of stairs. My eyes scan everything now, waiting for another spirit to jump at me. I want to pull the curtains away at each covered window we pass to let the sunlight in. Gathering what I have heard from Fern and Ned, I figured that the windows are hidden so their master, the beast, remains a spirit instead of a human. That way he can go through walls and vanish. I wouldn't be shocked to find out he is watching our movements now. Through a long walk through the maze of a castle, they bring me to a set of elegant doors. Ned nods his head to the doors, telling me to open them. I step forward, take both handles, and twist them open. Light floods my view, blinding me for a spell. Once my eyes adjust, I'm amazed at the beauty of the room and the brooms and dusters moving around by themselves, cleaning the place up. Candles light one by one as I walk into the room. They really made this bedchamber appear brand new. Then, a string floats up next to me, circles around my waist, and a young girl appears, holding the string. She takes the string away, marking a specific spot on it. Then she does the same thing to my arms. Once she is done, she floats away, and her spirit turns into a purple peacock. The rest of the spirits follow her, not showing themselves to me as they go. I could only see what they carried out with them, like the brooms and the dustpans. The whole thing is extraordinary and freaky. Ned and Fern, still outside the room, smile at me. See you around 5, Ned says. They shut the door. I run to it, but it's locked. I nod and mumble, right, a guest? The only thing they did was transfer the prisoner to a different room so the rats wouldn't eat me before their master. I'm pretty sure dinner means I am the main dish. 5, Fern presents me with a soft pink dress. I put it on, even though everything tells me it's some kind of sacrificial gown. Sadly, the dress is something my sisters would kill over right now. In my personal opinion, it is much too flashy to wear for dinner only. The sleeves are puffed, and every edge of the dress is lined with jewels. Fern places a tiara on my head to match the gown. The truth of all of this is too apparent. Sure, they might not be taking me to the beast to be eaten alive because who would want to eat someone when they were wearing layers of clothes? But they are trying to trick me into a false sense of security. I'm not stupid enough to fall for their little princess treatment. Dressing the prisoner up? What kind of sick people are you? My statement amuses Fern. Desperate ones. That's who. Come along, Missy. You don't want to be late. She opens the door, and I take it upon myself to bring a candle so I don't have to rely on the purple glow she produces. With my little light, I get a good look around the castle. Cobwebs are in every corner and claw marks trace the walls. Pictures are torn while tables and undamaged objects collect dust. Curiously, rose vines climb everywhere in the castle. We make it to the dining hall where a feast is waiting. 2 spots are set up at each end of the table. A roaring fireplace and various candles bring an idyllic illumination to the room. With all this light around, I may finally see what the beast looks like without his claws. I set my candle on the large rectangular table. Fern slides out the chair where I meant to sit, and I hesitantly obey. He'll be around shortly, Fern says before changing into a cat and scurrying off. Jumping back to my feet, I yell at her to come back. I still trust her more than I trust whoever her master is. He's holding me captive simply because I wanted a rose. Well, I guess I stormed inside his castle too, but he's a ghost. I sigh as I scan the dark areas of the room, sure spirits are watching me. Eventually, I sit down at the table. I hate this, feeling like no one is there, yet I know that isn't true. Eyes could be watching me throughout the entire room. However, Fern makes it sound like the beast has no choice but to become a human in the light. So if he comes over to me, I will know. An hour passes. Till no one has come. My stomach growls and I look at the room's dark corners again. Would it anger them if I started eating? I'm going to eat, so if I shouldn't, please tell me, I say, feeling slightly ridiculous. I don't even know if anyone was there. I watch all 4 corners, extending my hand to the food. Nothing makes a peep, so I take the food and put it on my plate. Then I get the sense that the food might be poisoned. I lift some of it with my fork and take a sniff. I'm unsure how to tell, but it seems like typical food from the smell. I take a bite and wait a bit. When nothing odd happens, I eat until my stomach is satisfied. Another hour passes while I dine. Afterward, I wait in my seat for another 15 minutes before I can't stand it. I walk over to the fireplace, stretching my legs. Upon the mantel, there are antiques coated in dust and webs. My eyes are just the right height to look at them. It is truly an enormous fireplace. One of the pieces catches my eye, a hand mirror. Doesn't look nearly as filthy as the rest of the objects. I pick it up, studying the mirror that is probably worth my family's house in little farmland. Gold rose designs outline the mirror and handle. It is a fetching thing and I don't want to break it, so I set it back on the mantel. Finally, my patience dies completely. I glare at the room's 4 corners and yell, "Can you come out now? What's with all this waiting?" I know that at least one spirit is watching me. It's not like you would let the prisoner wander around freely. I mentally slap my face before I run over to the doors. Don't tell me they are open. I yank on them, but just like in my room, the doors don't budge. They locked me inside, which means I'll stay in this room until someone gets me. Unless I break myself out, but I remember Ned's advice to me. If I want to escape, I should wait until the right moment. Fine, I get it. Wait in your seat like a good girl, I shout, returning to the padded chair. While I wait, I slump my head against my fist as my other hand taps the armrest. Soon, I nod off, weariness forcibly shutting my eyes. Around 10 minutes later, I jolt up to see that the remaining food has been cleared off the dining table. Most of the candles have reached the end of their stick and burned out. However, the fireplace is still blazing, giving off enough light to potentially reveal the beast in his human form. I can't believe my nap was long enough for everything to be taken away and for the beast to eat his food without me noticing. That is, if he even ate. I take a breath and sit up in my seat. That's when I hear him. His breath is behind my chair. However, the back of it is too high for me to look at him. I don't dare move as I hear the soft clicks of shoes. Then, his voice, a voice that belongs to a mysterious young man. Sounds callous and inconsiderate without any heart in it. So you're the rose thief. Do you go to every home and steal flowers? I tilt my chin to my left shoulder. No, generally I collect flowers in meadows not owned by anyone, so it isn't stealing. And for your information, I bought what I took before leaving the last flower shop I went to. Plus, I never got the chance to take your rose before you shoved me. My apologies, he breathes. I just don't like people roaming my castle and playing their little games. I must say, your 2 lovers weren't the courageous sort. It's shameful for a man to run away without attempting to save the girl. I grit my teeth. They are not my lovers. They are more of acquaintances, to be honest. At the backrest of my seat, his fingers curl around the frame. Now at least I know he is in his human form. My eyes stare at his olive-colored skin without moving my head an inch. If I get up fast enough, I can finally get a look at this guy and attack him. Of course, what would I do after that? The doors are locked. This should be interesting having you here with us, he says, his breaths crawling down my neck. I try not to shudder as I say as bravely as possible, "What's your reason for not showing up until now? And why do you hide behind my seat where I cannot see you?" He hums, and I can hear the cruel curve of his lips as he says, "To study you and see how you would handle being in this room all by your lonesome." I must say, it was hard not to laugh when you started shouting. "You're not very dainty, are you, Miss Arabelle?" His face is right behind my ear. I take this chance to stand and swerve around. To my surprise, he knocks the chair right over as soon as I stand. Crashes to the floor with a loud thud. I look at his solid form for the very first time. He wears a dark blue cape that covers the rest of his body. As for his face, he has covered it with a blue mask. Does very little to hide his appearance. I can see the copper red of his hair, a square jawline, and olive skin. The most intriguing part is his eyes. They are a winter gray like a wolf's fur coat. The mask only adds to his eyes' brightness. I have an overwhelming urge to punch him but instead laugh. "You concealed your face? What in the world is wrong with you? Are you that insecure? Or is this your way of trying to intimidate me?" I ask, avoiding the fallen chair as I walk forward. "I won't let him get to me." He chuckles, both, I suppose. He circles me like some kind of vulture. Women have certainly become more entertaining over the years. He stops in front of me. "Tell me, do you still enjoy reading?" "Still enjoy reading?" I question, what does that mean? Closes his eyes, amused. It seems as if the creator wasn't kidding after all. I bet she had this planned for a long time. He looks at me again. "What I meant was the creator keeps sending me girls who are too smart to fall for my tricks. You've all been educated, haven't you?" I hold my chin up to him while crossing my arms. "I'm glad to say that we have. Now what is all of this about? What are you trying to gain here?" Getting closer, he puts 2 fingers under my chin while his other arm grabs mine tightly. "Your affection." Then he tries to kiss me, but I wiggle away, only for him to catch both of my arms and force the kiss anyway. Thankfully, his kiss isn't long and he lets me go. I stumble away and rub my lips against my arm, disgusted and shocked by what he did, and said, "What game does he think he's playing at? In what world would someone give him any affection after he chased them down as a demon and locked them up?" "I knew it," he says glumly, turning away. His mood and tone change from creepy and hostile to melancholy. Then he reaches up to his mask, taking it off. He tosses it all the way into the fire. I stand there, now more confused than before. Is his statement even the truth about why I'm here? Perhaps he has multiple personalities or something odd like that. My mind hopes I'm wrong. I don't know if I could stand that. He's already too unpredictable. Then he turns back to me, his whole face revealed. I notice that his eyes watch me carefully. I only stare at him, not sure what to say. Unlike before, his gray eyes hold human emotion, the desperate emotion of longing. Flashes away when disappointment fills his eyes instead. He bows curtly. "I will see you tomorrow, beauty." He spins sharply, making a path to the doors that click open. "Why did you call me that?" I ask, swallowing the frog in my throat. I wonder if he can answer one question with a concise answer that doesn't sound like he's mocking me. His head tilts back just before he leaves the room. I notice that he has a glum smile on his face. "Do you love me, beauty?" I wheeze and say automatically, "No." That's insane. Besides, falling in love with your captor is a coping mechanism that takes time. Not 5 minutes. And believe me, I'd sooner escape than fall for you. He laughs coldly. "I'd expect nothing less from you. And don't worry, I know the creator would never accept that as love. Good night." He walks out of the room, shutting the door behind him. I rush over to it and toss it open, looking down the dark hallway for him. He is nowhere in sight. I guess he doesn't understand that I'm still a prisoner. He knows good and well the castle spirits aren't going to let me leave so easily. Question is, why?